Hello there, and welcome back to the channel. Now, today I thought I would specifically choose three of my all-time favourite debut albums. They're in physical format as well, which is always good. And I got to be honest, as much as I love Spotify and there's great stuff on there to be listened to, I am getting to the opinion that I need to increase my CD collection again to have the actual physical copies of albums that I particularly enjoy or did enjoy, simply because I've got the physical object, I've got the liner notes, etc., and I can appreciate the whole product as a whole a bit more, or in fact, a lot more actually. Anyway, so the first of my debut albums that I've chosen is from a band. This debut album came out in 1968, and I first heard their music in one of my all-time favourite films as well, Apocalypse Now. You may have already guessed uh, the band, and it is The Doors. Now, you can see how old that CD is simply by the sticker, probably, um, from the store concerned. But anyway, The Doors. Their debut album, released in 1968, with their frontman, the enigmatic and sometimes controversial frontman Jim Morrison. So, this album has got an absolute stellar array of tracks, none of which I would say are duds. Now, you've obviously got Break On Through, absolute major hit, and an instantly recognizable song. Soul Kitchen, again, brilliant. The very sublime The Crystal Ship, I just love that. It's poetry combined with song. Wonderful, wonderful track. 20th Century Fox, that is brilliant. I just really love that. I love the play on the title, which obviously at one point was the title of that film company. But obviously it's regarding a female that I guess Jim must have known at some point. Alabama Song, maybe that's the sketchy one out of this collection, but still, it's pretty good. It's pretty good. Again, you've got Light My Fire, another um, another another hit song, an old blues standard, Backdoor Man. I Looked at You, just brilliant psychedelic sounding song that is. I loved that song. It was, yeah. I looked at you, you looked at me. So there you go. I won't disturb you anymore. End of the Night, Take It As It Comes, and of course the absolute blinder, The End. That is an absolutely fantastic track, and I think combined with everything that was going on in the US at the time, with the ongoing Vietnam conflict, The End seems to just encapsulate that whole atmosphere, ambience of social unrest, um, despair, confusion. What the heck is the future going to hold, etc. Wonderful album, brilliant, brilliant. Jim, of course, shows his knowledge of literature by including a section in there um, alluding to Oedipus the King. I won't say any more than that, but there you go. The Doors, brilliant debut. Right, next on my list, I first heard of this group when I borrowed this next album off a guy I worked with, and it is Van Halen 1, the very first debut. I know some people say, "Oh, Van Halen 2 is the best." You can debate everything with Van Halen, um, in terms of their music. But I've got to be honest, for a debut album, the very first Van Halen album is absolutely incendiary. I don't think I'd ever heard anything like it. This album reminds me somewhat of Led Zeppelin 1, a complete tour de force of sonic, assault on the eardrums. I mean, you've got Running with the Devil. What a brilliant opening track that is. Of course, we've got Eruption, um, a cover of the Kinks, You Really Got Me, Ain't Talking About Love. Again, what an amazing riff. I'm the One. Fantastic. I mean, that's an insane guitar start on that. James crying. Love that song. Atomic Punk. Man, that is a heavy song. Absolutely brilliant. It is an absolute um, guitar assault and an explosion. It's fantastic. Absolutely amazing. Feel Your Love Tonight. Great. Little Dreamer. Yeah, it's okay. Not one of my favourites. The little ditty with Diamond Dave himself. Um, Ice Cream Man. Fantastic song. And his incredible trademark screams that he had back in the day. Wow, they just add to that. They add to all of the songs that Van Halen recorded with Dave. To be fair, that scream was just yeah, it was amazing. I hadn't heard anything like it until I heard Van Halen, and when I heard David Lee Roth and that insane scream, I thought, yeah, they're great, absolutely brilliant. Um, and then, of course, it closes with a track called "On Fire," which is as blistering and red hot as indeed is the first track, Running with the Devil. You ain't going to go wrong. If you want an absolute blistering rock album from 78 that was the start of Van Halen's epic up and down career to a certain degree, start with this one. Start with this. The start of the Roth era, um, you know, and there's a lot of good stuff that Sammy did with them as well. They evolved, and that's a good thing. Bands evolve, and that's what Van Halen were doing from each album. 84, obviously, they were exploring um, more of an accessible sound, maybe. Right down then to 5150, evolving and changing, and yeah, made him interesting. So great album, great start for these guys. Absolutely love it all the way to this day. And I mean, let's face it, Eddie's legacy is still very present in today's rock arena or guitarist arena because he left behind so many amazing riffs and solos that everybody wants to try and learn them. But man, they take a lot of time. Okay, and finally, on my quest for debut albums, my third favorite one is going to be, and it's still an amazing best-selling album. I mean, it's from 1987, I believe. It is on Geffen Records, and it is, of course, Guns N' Roses' Appetite for Destruction. Now, obviously, we had a lot of the glam metal bands at that time in the 80s. You had Poison, etc., Motley, Cinderella, loads. But when I heard Aerosmith, when I heard Guns N' Roses, as much as I was like rather shocked to find their proficient use of profanity, which initially put me off. I got to be honest, it did. Um, the tracks on it are amazing, and to a certain degree, I was listening at the time also to Aerosmith, and I've got to be honest. some of some of the material, the sound, the swagger of the material, really made me think of Aerosmith. Actually, I thought, they had that something. Um, so of course you had "Welcome to the Jungle." What an amazing, amazing track! Great stuff. "It's So Easy." Wow. Um, great, great track. Brilliant um, commentary on the rock and roll lifestyle. Basically, that's what it is. "It's So Easy." Fantastic. "Night Train." Wow. Just storms along. Um, an absolute rant on track 4, "Out to Get Me." Um, a favourite of mine comes next, which is "Mr. Brownstone," all about certain issues with a substance. But that track is so well written and so well put together lyrically. I just think it's amazing. And to add to it, a catchy lick as well. Wonderful, fantastic, brilliant, brilliant song. "Paradise City," of course. You know, um, an anthem, really, isn't it? One of those songs that hooks you in. "My Michelle," "Think About You." "Sweet Child of Mine," of course, again, another hit. "You're Crazy," "Anything Goes," and of course the infamous "Rocket Queen" with some how can I put it? Some rather interesting backing noise, shall we say. I won't say any more than that. But anyway, I'm sure you know the stories. But anywho, yeah, "Appetite for Destruction." What a brilliant, brilliant album. Um, I really did, I played this to death, really. I love this album. Um, and it's just, yeah, fantastic. I just think it's fantastic. It was just such a great, great debut album with so many brilliant songs on it. And yes, they are quite in your face, some of the songs, and they're quite, suggestive and rude, some of them. But it really is an album that kicks ass and has real swagger about it. And as I say, listening to these guys in 87 and then picking up Aerosmith's Pump in 89, side by side, they were just flipping brilliant, brilliant albums. There were at least a last couple of good years in rock at that time, and some of the best material, I think, came out of towards the end of the 80s. But anyway, there you go. So to recap, first debut album, The Doors, by The Doors. Number 2, Van Halen, by Van Halen. And Appetite for Destruction, by Guns N' Roses. So there you go. What are your 3 favourite debut albums? Or what is a debut album that you think is absolutely amazing? Let me know in the comments, guys. Take care, and I will see you soon. Bye.